Hey, it's Jen, the Holistic Health Boss, your functional diagnostic health practitioner and expert. And this week on the blog and in this video, we are talking about Candida, and I'm going to be giving you guys a 15-minute at-home self-Candida test and screening to be checking for this, because Candida is one of the most common things that I see in clients that I'm working with, and it's very commonly talked about amongst functional medicine and holistic health practitioners. So you probably have heard of Candida or maybe have been working on it, and I'm here to inform you a little bit more about it, because one of the things that I see go wrong all the time is how people are actually addressing Candida. So let's talk about a little bit of what Candida is specifically, and then we're going to dive into the details about how to test for it and how to get rid of it for good. So Candida is an opportunistic organism. It's a yeast or a fungus that lives inside of your gut. And when I talk about your gut, I'm talking about your GI tract or your intestinal system, basically. And what I mean by opportunistic is that everybody has a little bit of Candida in their gut already. It's actually part of the natural ecosystem that resides in there. However, when Candida becomes an overgrowth is when it becomes a problem, and it will overgrow whenever the opportunity presents itself. So some of the things that will contribute to a Candida overgrowth are things like other parasites, bacteria, and other yeasts that are overgrowing, as well as leaky gut. So this is when your immune system is then depressed, and there are the food supply for Candida is then established, and it can start to overgrow, which becomes a problem. So this is just one of the main reasons why I've created my upcoming Get Your Gut in Gear group program, is to address things like Candida and how to teach people how to address it properly. Now, some of the signs or symptoms of a Candida overgrowth are going to be things like bloating and fatigue, as well as hormone imbalances, blurred vision or ringing ears, or even teeth grinding and gingivitis or issues with oral health, as well as a white-coated tongue can be an indication of Candida. In severe cases of Candida overgrowth, you can actually have Candida in the mouth, which is called thrush. There's also skin rashes and breakouts. So a lot of skin issues are synonymous with a Candida overgrowth, as well as unexplained weight gain, constipation and diarrhea, sensitivity to cigarette smoke or chemical smells like perfumes and things like that as well, and constant nasal congestion, especially when it's more damp or moist outside, like when it rains or if you live by the beach area and when it gets foggy. Now, most people have no idea that they have a Candida overgrowth issue. They're just dealing with a lot of those types of signs and symptoms, not realizing that it could be linked to Candida. And the suffering continues because they don't know what's going on. They continue to take, over-the-counter prescription medications, over-the-counter and prescription medications that contribute to Candida overgrowth as well, because they depress the immune system and contribute to leaky gut, which is one of the underlying factors. Now, there are other people, and you might be one of them, who knows that you have an issue with Candida, but you can't get your doctor to acknowledge that or test for it. And I totally understand the frustration, because most conventional doctors don't know how to or want to address it. And then there are some people that might be like you, that you've tried a Candida cleanse or a Candida diet to realize that it might have alleviated your symptoms for maybe the period of time that you were doing that specific cleanse or diet, and then eventually the symptoms came back. So that's what I want to help you guys with today, is how do you identify and address Candida, specifically. So you see, Candida is really only part of the problem though. Like I said, it's an opportunistic organism that is actually a symptom of something greater that is going on in the gut. So oftentimes when I work with clients, we're doing a full-blown stool test to look at all of the underlying contributing factors to Candida specifically, as well as assessing their lifestyle factors. So the primary underlying contributors to Candida, like I kind of insinuated or mentioned before, are going to be things like parasite and bacteria overgrowth that's already there, as well as leaky gut. So when you have leaky gut, That means that you don't have enough beneficial good bacteria in the gut to keep things like Candida and other parasites or bacteria under control. And then also when you have parasites or bacteria already in there as a result usually of having leaky gut and not being able to fight that stuff off, then that provides a food source for Candida. So inside of our guts, there is, a hierarchy of life or organisms or a food chain per se, just like out here in the real world, where parasites are usually at the bottom of that. And then you have bacteria that will grow off of parasite and parasite waste. And then you have Candida or yeast that grows off of parasite and bacteria waste. So that's what I mean when I say that Candida is a indication of something greater that, or bigger, a symptom of something bigger that's going on in the gut. That usually there are those underlying factors of another parasite or a bacteria and leaky gut that are all fueling the growth of Candida. So when I work with clients, we run a stool sample test, we will look at these different factors. Oftentimes they will have another parasite or bacteria or both of those things, and we'll actually address those things first in order to cut off the food supply for the Candida, and that way the Candida will actually naturally come down on its own and they don't have to go into a full-blown Candida diet or Candida cleanse as a result of that. So again, when Candida is present, there's a high likelihood that you have another parasite or bacterial overgrowth in your gut too, and that's how the food chain of gut bugs basically works, is that Candida is growing off of those things. So, with my one-on-one work with my clients and also my upcoming Get Your Gut in Gear, again, this is where Get Your Gut in Gear group program, this is where I'll run a stool sample test so we can look at those specific contributing factors. Now you can also do an at-home test screening, which you can download from the blog or from the email where you're capturing this video. And you can do your own self-screening to kind of get some insights on whether or not you are at risk or do likely have Candida, and then you might want to do a test after that to see specifically what other underlying factors you have. So I'm going to share part of the test with you guys. I hope you can, see this well enough. So this is called the Candida spit test here. And basically what you're gonna do is you need a room temperature bottle of water and a regular drinking glass, and you wanna do this test first thing in the morning before you get up and right when you get up and before you brush your teeth. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna pour the room temperature bottle of water into that glass, then you're gonna work up a lot of saliva in your mouth and you're gonna spit into the water in the glass. And then this image is gonna show you what exactly it is that you're looking for. So this is our cup here. And then here's the things that you want to be looking for. You want to be looking for anything that is floating at the surface that has stringy legs, or you want to be looking at the part that's in the middle here, suspended particles, or you want to be looking for cloudy saliva that maybe has dropped to the bottom. If you see any of these three things in the glass after 15 minutes or up to an hour, so you want to check the glass every 15 minutes for an hour and be looking for these things. So again, you're gonna, first thing in the morning, before you brush your teeth, pour a room temperature bottle of water into a glass. Then you're gonna work up a lot of saliva in your mouth, you're gonna spit into the glass, and you're gonna check it every 15 minutes for an hour looking for these things. Anything that has stringy legs, any floating particles, and any cloudy saliva that might be down at the bottom. Any of those things would be an indication of Candida overgrowth. You can also check your tongue. If you have a white coating that's on your tongue, that can also be an indication for Candida overgrowth as well. So this is where, most Candida cleanses I see go wrong, is when they're only addressing Candida and they're not addressing the underlying, contributing factors like I was mentioning. So they don't address parasites or bacteria overgrowth or healing leaky gut. So in order to, if you do have Candida, in order to really get rid of it and kick it for good, you need to also work on those other factors. So the three surefire steps that it takes to get rid of Candida are: first, you need to eliminate inflammatory and pathogenic foods. So those are going to be things that are processed, such as like gluten, dairy, sugar, soy, and alcohol. If you are an autoimmune person, then that also means going towards an autoimmune paleo style diet to reduce inflammation even more. And then two foods that are extremely important to stay away from if you suspect that you have Candida is also going to be vinegar and any fermented foods, because those can feed the Candida. It feeds off of those things. And then the second step is you need to implement some gut healing supplements and foods, such as bone broth and collagen, L-glutamine powder, omega-3 fish oils, as well as maybe some proprietary blend supplements like Designs for Health GI Revive or BioHealth Support Mucosa that help to restore the integrity of the gut lining. And the third part is to test, not guess, and understand what other parasites or bacteria you have that are contributing to that growth of Candida. So these are the exact things that I'm going to be addressing in my upcoming Get Your Gut in Gear group program. And actually today, April 27th, is the last day for enrollment. I still have a few spots available. So if Candida and leaky gut or other health issues are a concern for you, you definitely might want to check out this group program. So the results that you can expect through this group program are restoring proper gut function so that you can have normal hormone balance. It helps to reverse autoimmune conditions as well, to finally find some of the missing pieces contributing to Candida or other health issues that you've been having, to work on resolving, nagging digestive issues once and for all, to increase your energy with extra despair at the end of the day, as well as clarity on what your body really, wants and needs from you to feel your best. We're going to balance your mood, increase your productivity and your clarity and focus. You're going to be muscle and joint pain free after healing your gut, and get more restful sleep than you've ever had before, and just getting back to feeling like yourself. So that's what this group program is all about delivering for you. With the program, exactly what you're going to do is you're going to do a stool sample test in order to look at the specific things that are going on in your gut. So to identify other parasites, bacteria, other yeast maybe that you have besides Candida. Look at the state of your leaky gut, like how much inflammation is going on in there, what your immune system looks like. And then through the course of this group program over 4 months, we're gonna work on healing all of those aspects, on taking specific herbs and creating the right diet that's gonna help to eradicate those gut bugs, working on healing the intestinal lining, and teaching you the lifestyle that's gonna promote gut health for the long term. So like I said, that is the Get Your Gut in Gear group program. Enrollment actually closes today, Thursday, April 27th. There's still a few spots available. You guys can jump on that. There's the links below or back in the email where you can check out more details about that. If you have questions, feel free to shoot me an email, to ping me with whatever questions that you have, because if you really need this program, I want to do anything possible to help you out and figure out if it's right for you, especially if you've been dealing with Candida and you've tried some of these Candida diets or cleanses before and you're still suffering. Then we need to look at some of those underlying contributing factors that Candida is really a symptom of this bigger problem that's going on. So download also the 15-minute Candida test, as well as the self-screening. You guys can do that if you're not sure. And if there's any indicators from that, then that might be a suggestion or an indicator that this group program would be great for you too. So I hope you guys found that helpful. You have a better understanding of Candida, the bigger issues that might be at hand, and how to strategically approach that. Hopefully I will see some of you maybe in the Get Your Gut in Gear group program. Otherwise, I will see you next Thursday on the blog.